Hello.
Hey. Um,
I can't believe it's been 2
Weeks.
weeks, a couple weeks.
Yeah. It's just like the end of the school year is such a busy time. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I know the
and
other moms can appreciate that.
yeah, and also we were both very ill. You never get sick and you were sick.
I know. That was so weird.
Yeah.
I still don't even. So basically, it started off as allergies and then it wasn't allergies. It was definitely a virus.
Yeah. I was like, was it? Like you thought it was
Mm,
allergies and then you kept getting
yeah.
sicker.
Yeah, I just kept getting sicker.
Yeah. I was like,
That was great. That
mm.
was So what did we miss while we were gone?
Let's see. So it was the always pleasant Mother's Day.
Mother's Day. Yes.
Shall we dive
Love
into
that for us.
Mother's Day?
Oh, actually, before we dive into Mother's Day, um, let's talk about Harrison Butker.
Oh, yes. Also, something else that just happened that we missed. That man, I mean, he felt like everybody needed to know his opinion, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that definitely the speech that he made. Okay, so for our listeners who are not, if
Can I
you have
explain?
not heard about this speech, I find it difficult.
Can we?
I know Coco's like scratching at the door right now. I can hear him meowing, which is, by the
Sorry.
way, for our viewers or our listeners, different from mewing.
Oh my God, the mewing. The mewing. Maybe I should tell that story.
Mewing. Yes. Yeah. If you guys don't have preteens or teens that you can ask about this specifically, you can Google it. It's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie.
God.
The graphic description that Nikki received,
Okay, I will share
my
this.
favorite. My favorite.
So, my daughter has been doing this thing, and it's called mewing, and she just tells me that it's been banned in her class, and I didn't know what it was, but I was just like, okay, but to me, she's just been doing this. She's like, and I just thought it was like this dumb hand gesture she's been doing with her face. But she tells me that her teacher has found it uncomfortable, so whatever, it's been banned in her class. And I'm like, I have no problem thinking that anything that, 24 through 6th graders do over and over again is fucking annoying. So I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. But I finally ask her what the fuck it is. And she's like, well, it emphasizes your jawline. So what you do is you flatten your tongue to the roof of your mouth and then you just swallow a little. And I'm like, what? Stop you right there. I'm going to stop you right there. Because they have been saying these words out loud to each other. And
Yes.
it definitely
Yes.
sounds
Giving
like
directions.
they have been directing each other on how to give a decent blowjob. So I'm just like, I can see why you're not allowed to direct each other, how that might make your teacher uncomfortable. So I was just like, yes, I can see why that is not allowed at school.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to keep that one out of the classroom. This is almost as bad as when watermelon sugar came out a couple of years ago.
Oh my God. But that actually got played at her school concert this year, and I guess the school did not know what that song meant because it started
How could you
playing.
not?
And the parent next to me and I looked at each other, and I don't think that I will get the sound of a little 4th grade voice saying, I just want to taste it over and over again out of my head. Like, I'm scarred for life.
Oh no.
So,
I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot for a 4th grade concert.
I was just like, because, my daughter, she's in 7th grade now because she class is out, but she's in 6th grade. And I think they played Dreams, and they played Bittersweet Symphony. And then
Classics.
the 4th grade, song was Watermelon Sugar. And I was just like, that's a choice.
That is, I mean, and I understand because like next year in the fall, all of the high school marching bands are going to be playing BBL Jizzy, right? Like BBL
Yeah,
Jizzy.
but they're in high school.
Like, yeah, that's true. That's also true. That's also true. Usually I try to be super honest with my kids and I try to tell them the truth, right? Anything that they ask me, I will tell them the truth. And it's going to more than likely be age appropriate, right? I'm not going to like tell you like a super graphic version.
Yeah,
But
my
when they
rule is
asked
always
me,
I will be honest but simple. And then when she asks the follow-up question, I'll keep giving more detail because she's not going to ask a follow-up question unless she's ready to hear it, right?
right, and you just
That's
keep
my
giving
rule.
them like enough information until they're
Yeah.
satisfied.
Yeah,
And then
because
you
they're
can like
not going to ask more
revisit, you know, when they're
questions.
older.
Yeah. Because they'll keep
Right.
asking more questions because they won't understand it when they're old enough to ask more questions. They're like, but
Yeah.
actually, how does that sperm get actually into that egg? Because like, what happens? And I'm like,
They're meeting. How are they meeting?
But how did that get in there? And I'm like,
Right.
mm-hmm.
How did that get close enough? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when my kids came home and asked the meaning behind the song Watermelon Sugar, I really was struggling to find an appropriate way to explain it in a way that like wouldn't traumatize them.
Oh, so my questions I always say it's a sex thing. Do you want to know? And up until recently, she's been like, no.
Well, you know, also I have to be careful when I say, well, that's a sex thing because they go to school and like my daughter's teacher at the beginning, sometime in the middle of the year, it was a parent teacher conference. She was like, Grace has told me so much about your family that you actually probably would not want me to know. And I was like,
Jesus Christ.
Great. Awesome. Freaking awesome. I don't even continue. Let's just, we know that you know. Let's not, I don't know specifically what it is. I assume it's not the best. I assume, you know,
Fabulous.
It's unflattering at the best.
Fucking awesome.
You know, we're clearly, right, like we're clearly not like in CPS territory, but we're definitely in extremely embarrassing territory. You know, but the reason
Brinley
why
told
they
her
had come
class
and asked
that we hate cops and and that Columbus was a murderer. So,
but you know what? Okay, those are facts. Yes. Okay.
Anyway,
Back
but back
to
the
Harrison
kicker.
Butker. Yes. So if you have not heard, he is the kicker on the Kansas City Chiefs. And he gave a
doesn't do a great
speech
job at that either.
Yeah, I saw a few compilations. They're definitely not shedding the best light on his ability. But you know, when you're associated with a winning team, you just assume that like he's gonna be great. Like, and I think people do think that he's like the best kicker in the league or like the second best kicker, which I'm like,
I'm gonna pull his stats while you condense down what he said.
Okay, so he gave a commencement speech at Benedictine College, which is a religious university in Kansas. So he essentially got up during commencement and he went on like a 30-minute politically motivated rant. The thing that I think most people have latched onto is the fact that he told women that they were sold this diabolical lie where they should get an education and they should go off and have careers, but their life, and he was like, and you can ask my wife. And I'm like, well, clearly you didn't because you said this out loud. But he said, if you ask my wife, she would tell you that her life didn't begin until she had children. And that is her like ultimate purpose and goal in life and blah, blah, blah. And people should be like, you know, women, you shouldn't be fulfilling your careers. You should be, you know, fulfilling yourselves with your careers. You should be having children. And then he also went on a rant against LGBTQ plus communities. He went on a rant against Biden. And it's just like, this is not the time nor the place to espouse your political and highly religious beliefs in a way that doesn't relate to the graduates in any way, shape, or form, right? Could you imagine working your butt off? And, you know, Kansas has a lot of rural areas. So the kids who, you know, make it to college, sometimes they do have an uphill battle. They have to like, you know, they come from rural families, and so they're working really hard to be able to pay their tuition, to be able to attend these colleges, to be able to study the things that they want to study, to follow their dreams and their passions, and then to work your ass off, probably coming out of there with some kind of debt because this is a private university, and then to have this man come up there and say, your life doesn't mean anything unless you have children. Jaw is on the floor. Speechless that he thought that this was a good idea. This was the time and the place, and that someone else probably read that speech and was like, yeah, send him up there. That's great.
Yeah, like who approved that? Did the Chiefs PR team approve that? I'm very confused about that. Like who approved that?
I don't think the Chiefs PR approved that but I also don't think that they're going to do anything about it, right? Otherwise they would have done it by now, because this was like Mother's Day weekend, actually. Did he even give that speech on Mother's Day? Because isn't commencement usually on like a Sunday?
Saturdays. Well, it was at my college. I don't know for sure, but
okay.
he was at a Catholic college, so I don't know for sure.
Yeah. So he gave the speech Mother's Day weekend about basically how women should just be having babies and serving their husbands. And I just, you know, there's a big discussion happening right now about like trad wives and how it's actually really dangerous because, you know, you could dedicate your you know, career building years to a man who decides after you have 2 or 3 kids that he's really not that interested anymore, because now you're kind of old news and he's just going to leave you and these kids, and he's going to go off and like do whatever he wants. And maybe he'll pay you some child support, but really you are in no place to be able to go out and start a career now in your 30s or 40s from scratch and be able to support your children and yourself to the same degree that you relied on this man to do, right? Like, it's actually very dangerous. You have no social supports if this man decides that he doesn't want to support you anymore.
Yeah, I'm never ever staying home to further a man's career, like the end, because sorry, like I'm not putting anybody down who decides to do that. It's just really dangerous for you, like you said, because you're not putting away anything for retirement, and you're not, unless you have like some kind of ironclad prenuptial agreement, or you are making sure that he has opened up a retirement account for you and he is putting money in your own personal retirement account. It's just very dangerous for you, because I don't know about you, but I'm not counting on Social Security to save me when we retire.
Well, and that's the thing. Social Security is based on your earnings. So if you have zero earnings.
Yeah, I don't expect Social Security to exist for us.
Oh, I already got a letter. Like, I got a letter in the mail when I first started working saying that it wasn't going to be there from the government.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like the Social Security Administration
letter,
sent
but
out.
I fully don't believe it will. So
yeah, they were like, thank you for starting to pay into this. You know, like, you're like working, blah, blah, blah. By the way, we're predicting this to be like to run out by the time you turn 70. And I was like, oh,
thank you.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Now, I also want to clarify that if you choose to be a stay-at-home mom, if if that is a choice that's the best for you and for your family, 100%, I absolutely support you doing that. The thing that I
Yeah.
do not appreciate is someone coming and telling me that that's my only option in life. That's my only value that I can bring to this world. I don't
Yeah.
appreciate that. If I want to stay home with my kids and be a stay-at-home mom, I want that to be my choice. My choice. I don't
Yeah,
want to tell anyone else what to do with their lives.
I actually would love to stay, like, I would have loved to stay home for the first like 3 years of my child's life. Like, that was
Yeah.
the best, the best. And then I wanted to go to work. But like, I certainly don't think that my only value after, especially particularly at a college commencement speech, do you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, what a
Yeah.
weird,
Read the
what a
room,
weird
bro.
choice is to do that.
And it
Like,
certainly was a choice.
mm-hmm,
And I heard a lot of rumors and things about him, which I'm not going to go into
mm-hmm.
because they're like, just rumors. But I will point out that that man had a cheetah print tie on when he was giving that anti-gay speech.
I mean, feels like they were pretty easily corroborated rumors, but just saying.
Listen,
And
until
like,
I get a screenshot.
facts are facts. No.
I'm just saying, that's the kind of like self hatred and projection that's just, you're just pushing this. You don't know where all of the people in the audience are at mentally that day.
Right.
Don't
Well,
be the
and
13th reason for that
also, what
person.
if, yeah, and like a lot of people can't afford to have kids right now.
Mm-hmm. What about those people?
Yeah. Especially, it's like pretty heinous a wealthy guy coming on stage and being like,
Mm-hmm.
have as many babies as you want. Like, can you afford daycare in San Francisco right now, Nicole?
No, I couldn't afford daycare in Kansas.
Yeah.
Let's be real. I couldn't afford it there either.
I can't afford a second kid. I can't afford a second kid. Like,
No,
so
and this is with two incomes. Two
yeah.
incomes.
Yeah, it's pretty rich
Adam and I
rich of
both
him to
have
say that.
advanced degree. Like, we both have advanced degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way. I mean, we did. He did when we still lived in Kansas. I didn't, but,
Mm-hmm.
and this is okay. So also, yes. So this rich white man saying, come up and have all these babies. He can afford the stay-at-home mom. He can afford the support. He can afford the nanny so that his wife can go work out and stay whatever he wants her to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If two incomes, I know. If two incomes can't even, support daycare for one child, how
Yeah.
is one man going to support an entire family in the middle class? Like, that's not possible.
Yeah, I think that a daycare for an infant in Oklahoma is like $2,000 a month right now.
That's
Yeah.
like significantly more than it was even when
Mm-hmm.
my kids were infants. Even after school care, I think it was like $800 per month for the two kids here. Right? Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, no, I am someone who so I got divorced, but like I if totally would have had a second kid, but I literally do not see how I can afford that.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So
And
Harrison
also,
Becker, like, shut up.
I know. Keep your opinions. Like, the whole purpose of you coming there was to inspire the graduates, not
Mm-hmm.
inspire Handmaid's Tale.
And his mother is a medical physicist. Like,
Yes.
you get
She's
paid to kick a football through some goalposts. And also, I looked up his stats. He's like the eighth. His field goal percentage is tied for the eighth best in the NFL.
I just don't understand why the Chiefs won't trade him.
Right? I mean, he might be in the middle of a contract, but
I mean, how much do they really pay their kickers? I think they can afford to.
I know, right? But I bet he is not allowed to talk anymore, ever, for the rest of his contract.
I don't know. I really don't think the Chiefs care. I really don't, because they haven't put out any statements. The NFL put out a statement that they were like, yeah, we're not into
Support
this.
this.
And the Chiefs were like, cool.
I think I saw that the owner said something.
In support.
Shut up. I didn't see that.
I think it was Hunt's wife. I mean, I don't know. Let me look this up. What did
Well, and then it is disgusting that his jerseys sales skyrocketed. So for all
I
of the men
know.
out there just offended that women are choosing the bear, this is why.
Right. The bear won't tell me that my only value is to be in the kitchen
oh,
popping
so
out
gross.
babies. No, they'll just eat me, and then it'll be over.
It'll be done. It'll be done.
Yes. Okay. The Kansas City Chiefs owners, wife and daughter, Tavia and Gracie Hunt, stepped forward to support Butker. Yep. They emphasize that embracing the beautiful roles that God made is something to celebrate. That's really fucking rich, coming from
more rich
the
people.
literal, some of the rich, some more rich people.
What?
Because you don't have to work.
Yeah. Don't they own Hunt Ketchup?
That's okay. I'm really a Heinz girly anyway.
I actually used to like Hunt Ketchup, and now I can never eat it again. So that's horrible.
No. You can probably still eat it, because it's not. It was just the wife and the daughter that made that support. You know that they're not working at the ketchup factory.
That's fair.
They're probably not working at all.
Yeah, probably not. No, I'm so tired. I'm just really tired of men, if I'm being honest.
But
stop
listen,
telling me what to do.
there's a lot of women.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women that also feel this way. And you know what? My thing to you is just mind your own fucking business.
Yeah, I guess.
If I want to stay home,
at least the women
that's my choice.
Get it more. Do you know what I mean? At least the women who think that that's their biggest role, okay, you can do that. That's cool. The man that's saying that, you stay home.
Right.
His mom is awesome. That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has an amazing mom, clearly, or she's at least very intelligent and has a badass job. So does his dad suck? You're embarrassing your parents, Harrison.
Yeah.
Paris Paloma, that lyric in that song, it's not an act of love if you make her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You make us do too much labor. Yeah.
Yes. That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of all of that unpaid labor, let's talk about Mother's Day.
Let's talk about Mother's Day. How do you feel about Mother's Day, Nicole?
I'm actually pretty chill about Mother's Day.
Okay.
Now. I'm chill about most things now. And I'll tell you why. Okay. I wasn't going to tell you. It is because I truly do believe that this holiday is a Hallmark holiday, right? I think that this holiday, Valentine's Day, many holidays where, even Christmas has been demeaned to just gift giving and the spirit of Christmas. Even though I'm not religious, I'm you just should be spending time with your family, appreciating all the gifts that you've received this year. And I don't mean physical presents. I mean that you're alive, you're healthy, hopefully you're doing well in life. Those gifts, right? We're all together. My parents are elderly, 50% of them are still with us. Those kind of gifts. And so I already kind of come into the holidays like that, but I wasn't always this chill. I used to get really pissed that I would still have to make my own birthday or Mother's Day or Valentine's Day arrangements, make those plans, get the babysitters, pick out my presents, send the links to the presents that I wanted to Adam. just be like really hyper specific. I used to be like so pissed that he wouldn't just take the initiative and like do something, anything.
Yes.
And I'm also not the kind of person that would ever take an effort that he, take the effort that he put into something and be like, this isn't good enough, or I don't like this. I'm always just like, whatever you want to do, like, I appreciate what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, ever since I dropped my expectations completely to the ground, like the bar is like on the ground, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I am totally chill. I am fine. We went to Costco. I wanted a hydrangea. I picked out a hydrangea. Uh, Adam threw in a lavender bush as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nice surprise. It's great. I was very pleased with that. And then got up and they made blueberry pancakes. Was it blueberry? I can't remember. Whatever. I wanted pancakes. So they made pancakes, right? And they made a whole breakfast. And then I just really wanted to chill at home for the rest of the day. Like, I didn't want to make a big deal out of it because then I would have to do more work, and I didn't really want to do more work. I wanted to do less work. That's my Mother's Day present to me. Less work.
Absolutely.
How was yours?
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is the key to your happy Mother's Day is to bury the bar 6 feet under.
Yes. That's the key to happiness. And I'm really sad to say to all of our mothers out there that that's what's worked for me.
Okay. So I actually disagree a little bit with it being a Hallmark holiday because I think that Mother's Day is important in a different kind of way than other holidays because we create all of the goddamn magic every day of the year for everyone else. So being a single, you know what? I'm not using that word. Actually get I'm actually not. I'm very chill about most things. Chill is not the correct word. I'm very level about most things. I call myself an only parent, not a single parent, because there are a lot of different levels of single parenting. Because you can have like 50-50 custody and be a single parent. I have 99.99 and 0.01% custody.
Listen,
And
I'm
that
not going
feels
to do the
low.
math on that, but it's like a handful of hours per year.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm like an only parent. So but yes, I do believe the key to a good Mother's Day is to lower your expectations because expectations breed resentment.
Yes, they do.
And do I think that that is an awful reality? In fact, I do. Does it circle me back to hating men? In fact, it does. But that's just how it is. But now that I don't have a partner, this is what I do for Mother's Day. I do whatever I want. So this year, I just kind of like, usually this is what I do. I order brunch, like fancy brunch, and I have it DoorDash to us. And I laid in bed, and then B and I played some video games together. And then anytime she started to argue with me, I was like, it's Mother's Day. So I think that, and then I cooked us. Oh no, you know what? I choked down some rubbery eggs that she made me.
Oh, it's a thought that counts.
Yes, and that was the truest act of love that I did because I love eggs and I hate poorly cooked eggs. But she is getting, but they get better every year.
Ooh, that is a slow progression.
Yes. And yeah, I think that is mostly what I did. But you know what I don't do? I do not go to anyone else's house on Mother's Day. And I feel like people are really mixed on this.
Yeah.
I just need to be very clear when I say if you do not have small children or children that still live in your house, Mother's Day is no longer for you. And this is
Mhm.
my unpopular opinion. And I do not care, because you had all of those years before when your children were still living with you to get celebrated on Mother's Day.
Right.
And you don't get that day anymore. Okay?
Yeah. Pass the torch. Pass the
You're not
torch.
doing the hard part of mothering anymore.
Right. And I think
Yeah.
there are very few.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, how do I want to word this? I think there's a lot of grandmas out there that
Mm-hmm.
still expect to be pampered and loved in the
Mm-hmm.
same way when their kids were young and like living in their house. But now they're grandmothers, they have children who have children, and they're
Mm-hmm.
expecting like their children to come over and like do these things for them, when in reality their children either need to be receiving that pampering their own,
Mm-hmm.
or giving that pampering to the mother in that household, their partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So if you are a grandma now and there's a mother that needs to be getting pampered that day instead, you need to let it go. And I'm just going to
Mm-hmm.
give you that reality check. Let it
Right.
go.
Absolutely.
Because that sucks. It sucks. I don't want to drive all over the country, the state, to go see everybody. I want to rest. I am tired from taking care
Right.
of the kids. Like,
Right. Why would I want to pack up my entire household to travel to your household where you don't have anything going on? You come to me. You come to me.
yeah,
You come to the children. Right? Like, it's not even about me. It's you come to the children.
yeah. Oh, when Brinley was a baby, like I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm tired. I am tired.
Yes.
And then when I got divorced, I was like, I'm not driving over anymore. And my mom was legitimately mad. And I was like,
No.
I'm a mom now too, actually. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry if you did not get the treatment that you deserved, but I will not be. I'm getting what I need now.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm encouraging moms to do that for themselves, is to get what you need, even if you can't get your partner to do that for you, is to just, I call it a slug day, is where you just
Mm-hmm.
lay in bed and be a slug.
Yes.
Because even if they won't do anything for you, everything that you're needing to get done on Mother's Day, it'll wait for you until the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And taking a guilt-free day to just rest. The most important thing a friend told me is that resting is a morally neutral activity. You do not have to feel guilty for resting. We are in this weird, like, hustle culture in the United
Mm-hmm.
States. And I super struggle with this because, my health in the last couple of years has really forced me to rest more than I am used to. I used to be the most go, go, go person on the planet just because that's just who I was as a person. Like, I was always doing something. But hearing the phrase that rest is morally neutral, that was like life changing for me. Like, hey, like, you don't need to feel guilty for resting because it is not a bad thing. And I was like, huh, what an
Mm.
interesting statement.
Yes. It's like I hear the statement, I accept the statement, but I am
Mhm.
unable to apply it to myself personally.
Right. But this is me, your best friend, telling you rest is morally neutral and you deserve it.
Yes, but it's also very difficult when you come from, as you know, a working class family,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
But I
And
have chosen with therapy to embrace the statement rest
mm,
is morally neutral.
like I said, I understand what you're saying. It's just difficult to apply. It's just, and I also came from, my mom is from Vietnam. She's
Mhm.
been, working to the bone since the day she arrived in this country.
Mhm.
And she is also the kind of person who's waited on my dad hand and foot. That man did not make a single beverage on his own the entire time that he lived in my mother's house.
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was raised to like serve the man of the house, right? And
Yeah.
so it's difficult. I've definitely gotten better about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's because of I haven't like consciously been like, I'm going to give myself rest. I'm just morally defeated about the state of my house, and I'm just like too depressed to clean it on the weekends. And then I'll just like rot in bed for a few hours. And so, either way, I'm getting that rest. I don't feel great about it, but you do what you got
Yeah.
to do.
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to call that progress, but
Sure it is. It's progress. I used to kill myself. I used to kill myself on the weekends, making sure the house is clean, getting all mad that Adam wasn't helping me, him
Mhm.
telling me that my standards are just too high for him to achieve. And it's just like not fair to expect him to like clean
Mhm.
things because he just doesn't see the grossness.
Yeah.
So I just clean the things that are important to me, and then
Mhm.
I just don't clean his stuff. Like,
Oh.
you know?
Another important phrase that I have embraced recently is any job worth doing is worth doing half-assed.
Yes, yes. And so, yes. I mean, I do
Like,
kind of
look
wish
at
that
this laundry chair. Look at it. Look at my laundry chair.
it's in the dim background. We can't see that. I can't see it.
Like, maybe those clothes will get folded and put away, but probably not soon.
Yeah, and it's fine. I literally have a hanging, a drying rack. It only has like 2 pieces of clothes like left on it, which it's been out for like 3 weeks. What am I gonna do? Put that shit away? Maybe later.
Probably just put it on. Those are clean clothes to wear.
They are clean clothes. They are clean clothes. But yeah. So Mother's Day. I do wish though that if we were around family, I do wish that we could have done like something nice with our mothers and like with the other mothers, like, our aunts and sisters-in-laws and things like that. I do wish that we could have done something like that because it's just nice to be able to like create that magic for the people that you love. But we're many states away, so just settled for some phone calls and FaceTimes this year.
Yeah. I think that maybe I'm just become kind of bitter, right? Because I have stopped even calling people. Like, nobody bothers to call me on my birthday. Nobody, if you don't call me, you're getting a text back. Do you know what I
That's
mean?
trash. That's trash that people
Yeah.
don't call you on your birthday.
Yeah. Like, this year on my birthday, nobody bothered to call me. So I
I mean,
just
I
texted
also
them.
didn't call you.
That's okay. But, it feels like my parents probably should have.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just texted them Happy Mother's Day. I mean, I got my mom, she loves the University of Oklahoma. She loves to watch softball games, right? And they're very good. So I got her softball tickets a few weeks ago, like really good seats. I've been stalking the website because tickets are outrageously expensive. So I got her like tickets right on home plate to go for she and my dad to go. So I got her that a few weeks ago. And then on Mother's Day itself, I just texted her. So, but like, I'm a single parent. Like, nobody's like my daughter shopping to get me anything. Like, I did not call her to tell her Happy Mother's Day, but I did send her a text.
Yeah. I mean, that's good enough.
So,
That's good enough.
so I
I
think that
mean,
you are a better daughter than I am. So if they lived in the same town as me, like maybe we would have gone to brunch or something, but probably not because I waited tables too long and I don't want to go out to eat on Mother's Day.
also true. Like, I feel like I'm not gonna get the best service on Mother because everyone's just like packed in there like sardines, right? Like
And
I want
grumpy.
to be relaxed, yeah. But also my mom is the kind of mom that will still call me at like she'll call me before I wake up and leave a voicemail singing happy birthday to me on my birthday, right?
That's pretty cute.
Yeah. She's done that for years.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I feel like I can call her because she at least remembers to call me on my birthday.
No, my parents have fully just embraced like a text is the same as a call.
Unless they want something. And then why didn't you
Right.
call? Mhm.
My dad calls me, I don't know, 6 times a week, but on my literal birthday, he just sent me a text.
Dad. Dad. Dad.
And I don't know. And the thing is, they do it every year. And shockingly, I know this is going to come as a huge shock. I definitely say something every year about how that is not appropriate etiquette. And it does not change their behavior.
That's so interesting to me because I always thought that boomers were like much more like society etiquette.
Yeah, it's
prone.
almost like my entire fucking family is autistic.
You know, gestures broadly.
No, I literally start telling them, I'm like, when people wonder why I am the way that I am, I just need to just capture this moment. And my dad's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, okay.
Oh, parent. I love them.
Trying to parent your parents is like a whole other episode.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's nuts. It's nuts. I have an interesting Am I the Asshole for us today.
Okay, I'm ready. I never read them, so I can be genuine.
Okay. This was posted a year ago by Oak Cool. Headline, Am I the asshole for not getting my wife anything on Mother's Day?
Yes.
I, 34M, did not buy or get anything for my wife on Mother's Day, and let me explain why. My wife and her friend planned a trip to the beach for 4 days, which fell on Mother's Day. So I thought to myself that since I'm watching the kids while she's gone, that would count as a gift since she wouldn't be here to celebrate that day and would get home that night on Mother's Day. She gets home and realizes I didn't do anything for her and later tells me that she's upset and message was received loud and clear. I tried to explain my reasoning and thought process, but she didn't agree. So am I the asshole? Edit.
Oh, okay.
I worded this badly.
Oh, okay.
And not enough background. Instead of watching, I should have said taking care of the house and kids. Her going to the beach is what I thought she wanted to do for Mother's Day, and me taking care of everything was enough because we pretty much split everything 50-50. She cooks more and I clean more. She wasn't expecting gifts, but acknowledgement of her is what she was looking for. But again, her being gone that day, I thought it didn't mean that much. I wasn't expecting anything. She didn't speak to me for 4 days after I apologized. Eventually, we talked it out and admitted my mistakes for not communicating with her. I want to thank all the people that gave advice and actual conversations and didn't take personal shots. And for the ones that did, I was being sarcastic in my responses. Update. She got me a Father's Day gift and it was not divorce papers.
Okay. Okay, so I think we have already established that our bars are on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly wouldn't have expected an additional gift if I got to go on a solo trip for 4 days overlapping Mother's Day. Would you?
No, I wouldn't expect a gift, but
I would have expected a happy Mother's Day for sure.
Yes. And
yeah,
the fact that
I
you
do agree.
Like had the kids all weekend and like they didn't even make little cards or anything.
Yeah, that is
like
lame.
I mean, I guess I don't know how old your kids are, but that is a solid like 20-minute activity. You just sit them down with some construction paper and crayons and then you just scroll on your phone. Or if they're
like babies, you like paint their fucking hand and
yeah splat. That's it. Like not and the fact that he like literally did not even think to ask her what her preference was. That's I think the part that like drives me the most crazy is when, and I've tried to explain this to Adam many times, it's like if you just assume that you know what I want, I'm gonna assume that you don't consider me a human being with like my own thoughts and feelings. Like you're just assigning me thoughts and feelings.
Yeah. Here's another thing. I have not I've been single, like way single for so long that I have I was like, oh my God, a solo trip for 4 days where somebody else is like taking care of the kid and cleaning the house. That sounds great. I don't give a fuck if you tell me happy Mother's Day, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, she just wanted the
so
acknowledgement.
yeah. I think that this is not a big deal, and I find myself very surprised that I'm kind of on his side here. Like, I think this is a case of the tism getting me, where I'm like, ugh, I've been an accidental asshole.
But no, I think so this is why I thought this one was going to be an interesting one for us. Because I was also on his side when I first read this, because I thought, yeah, mistakes were made, but they were communication mistakes, and communication mistakes were made by both parties.
Yeah. Like, I guess I just 4 whole days to not talk over that, it feels extreme to me.
That does seem like a little much. I do wonder
if we're not getting the whole story.
Right. Because,
yeah, that's my thing.
He said, I watched the kids for 4 days. And then he
That
was
is
like,
my pet peeve is when dads say they watch the kids. Bro, you're not watching your own goddamn children. You're parenting.
Right. And so the fact that he typed that out, he had the chance to proofread it. You know, if he didn't, that's on him. And then he sent that out to Reddit. I understand that consciously he's like, oh no, they're my kids. Obviously, I'm not just watching them, I'm parenting them. But subconsciously on that level, he
like,
typed
she's
that
clearly
out.
the default parent.
Yeah, like he definitely typed that out and sent it out to the world.
Because that's how he views it, as he's watching the kids, because he doesn't think of that as his job too.
Right. Even though, like, I think consciously and subconsciously, there are two conflicting schools of thought that are going on within this man. Right. And I think that men, not just men, I think that all humans want to put their best foot forward, right? So they're never going to like default to the thing that they know is going to be like perceived badly, unless it's by accident. So
I'm like
I definitely
scrupulously honest when I tell a story. So.
Right, but if you had like worded it like, if you had worded it in the same way, right, then we would have known that
because
was
when I don't ever watch my kid. Like, she's with me all the time. I always find it odd when I show up with my kid and they're like, oh, I didn't know you were going to bring Brinley. I'm like, where else would she be? I'm very confused by this statement.
Yeah, did you want me to leave her home in the kennel?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, like it's just, but essentially, yeah, I think yes, Mother's Day, it's a really tough one, because I do think that mothers should be appreciated more frequently than just the one day. I think they need to, at the very minimum, be acknowledged by their partners, because the magic doesn't just happen on its own. I really do wonder if some of these partners really do think that the magic just happens on its own, like that these things, the special moments, are just organic. They just like appear out of thin air.
If you're that guy, if you're that partner, stop being that partner. Like, if you think that there's like a magic fairy that comes through and makes everything happen in your house, like, stop it. Like, your wife does that.
Right. It is your wife. It's your And I would say, to the credit of San Francisco, I don't know if it just like attracts like a certain demographic of people like that think a certain way, but I would say that most of the men that I know that are like married to my friends, or that I'm friends with, or that I like work with, whatever, like they're actually like very thoughtful people. Like they're very like they'll come to work and like talk about what they did for their wives for like Mother's Day, or for like their birthdays, or like things that they have planned. Like I have a friend who actually was gonna be you on this podcast. But then we recorded a couple episodes and he was like, I'm uncomfortable with my voice. And I was like, me too, but we're gonna push through. And he was like, I'm not going to. You know, he actually is very thoughtful with his partner. Like he tells me about some of like the things that he does, and I was like, wow, that is like beyond the expectation.
I bet his partner's bar is not on the floor.
No, it's definitely way higher for him. Like he definitely has to clear a higher bar for sure. But like, why shouldn't she expect a higher bar? Why shouldn't you expect a higher bar for yourself to show love to your partner? Why shouldn't you expect that from your partner as well?
Yeah, I definitely want to teach Brinley to not. Her bar needs to be like sky high.
Yeah. And I feel like it's not going to be perfect with my kids. But I feel like there's progress, right? So like tonight, Adam and I were kind of like going back and forth about something at the dinner table. And Grace was like, when you guys go back and forth like this, like voices were not even raised. We were just kind of like, well, I disagree with that. Well, I disagree with that, And she was like, it just makes me uncomfortable when you guys fight. And I can literally, my childhood was just my parents like screaming at each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like, and we're just like there, like just chilling. And they're literally hurling insults and being like, you're a cheater. And then like hurling cuss words and like throwing chairs and like, just all kinds of like,
yeah, like truly unhinged behavior.
Right, absolutely. I mean, like you guys are both fucking psycho, but I'm just gonna go watch.
Both a problem here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go watch Scooby Doo in the other room, like,
and
and then Grace is like,
again.
yeah, and then Grace is like, this is making me uncomfortable that you guys are disagreeing.
Oh my god. Yeah, B is like super anxious, so I can't even imagine. My parents fought a lot, but like not like crazy, but they like yell a lot and they bicker a ton. But they never actually resolve a problem in front of you. They just like cut it off and then like don't talk to each other for a while and then just suddenly it's fine. So
yeah,
you never get the apology part to each other. And so I never learned to apologize until I was much older.
Yes, correct. That is correct. It's difficult. It's a learned skill if you're not raised in that environment.
So I always try to apologize to Brinley whenever I, over respond to a situation.
Oh, I need to. Okay, so one thing that my mom was extremely clear about was that she, as the parent, would never, ever apologize to me, the child.
What a terrible thing to do.
She's Asian. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Actually, the only firm rule that we have in our house is that we respect each other. So, like, everything else falls under that rule, basically, right? So, so one of the foundations of respecting each other is we apologize when we fuck up. So,
yeah, I think it's definitely. I mean, like, I can't like point to like a single time, like a specific time that I was like, oh my god, I just really apologize, because I really just try not to. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm like too lax. I'm just like pretty chill. I'm like, do whatever you want, and like the consequences are natural.
Yeah. So I'm not, because I get overstimulated very easily. So sometimes I'll be driving in hectic traffic and the radio will be on and she has not stopped talking in like 30 minutes. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, stop talking. Right. And so then I'm like, I'm so sorry. That actually wasn't about you. That was about everything else that was like happening. Like, okay. Like,
That's
or
good.
just, like she has ADHD. And so like sometimes she has ADHD breakdowns and sometimes they'll go on for hours. And I'm like, I've just had enough. So you have to go to bed and I'm going to bed and we're done with this. And so the next morning we have to talk about it, so we never
you're
leave
much nicer than me.
Yeah, we never leave a
I'm
problem
literally just like
unresolved.
No, the resolution is that when we're in the car and you're talking for 45 straight minutes about Skibbity Toilet and the radio's on and there's traffic and people are honking, I'm gonna just burst out and be like, Mommy's trying to drive. And that's the resolution. That's it. That I need to concentrate.
Well, but maybe your kids don't have like crazy anxiety, like Brinley. So like she'll take it like very
Grace does.
personally, like she's done
Grace
something
does.
wrong.
Grace also doesn't really annoy me though. I mean, and I'm gonna say this because I think Grace and I we're very much the same personality wise, right? Like we're very like not touchy-feely people. We're not like over communicators. We don't like share a lot of our feelings. We don't like share that running monologue externally. We just literally, our default is to keep it internal. And so we're just pretty chill around each other. Like we have like a pretty mutual understanding of one another, I would say.
She just needs to tell me all of the tea about everything that has happened at school with everybody. And then this happened because she wants me to know everything that happened. And then she wants to know my take, but then she also gets mad if my take is not the exact same one that she had. And I am like, this is a fucking minefield.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That is, yeah. Yeah, that is a minefield. Because Adam is very similar in that if he shares a belief, even if you're like not, you just like simply disagree, right? Like it's like neutral disagreement. He will take it upon himself to be like, maybe she like didn't understand me, maybe she didn't hear me, and then like he'll just keep like, all right, and like he'll just keep repeating it. I'm like, I heard you the first 3 times you explained it. I just have a different perspective. And he like really takes that personally. I'm like, I don't care. I just
She'll
don't.
be like, I thought you were on my side. And I'm like, I
I
am
am
actually not. Well, I'm like,
Oh.
I would no. Well, I'm like, I think that you were actually the mean girl here, honey. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah.
I'm really interested to see, because I don't think Grace's default is to be, because she's a people pleaser, because I'm a people pleaser. And so her default is acquiescence.
Yeah, so B has really started like not only just standing up for herself, but also lashing back out at people who have wronged her. So I'm like, oh, can't wait to see how this unfolds.
That's so interesting, because I am also a grudge holder, but I think that's actually a learned trait that I have. I don't know that that is necessarily, yeah, because now that I've gotten like older and like really kind of like come into my own person, my like the fate worse than death for someone that I dislike is that I just completely forget about them and never think about them again and never waste any more energy on them. Period.
Yeah. So B was really good about she's really good about letting things go until she realizes that the people who should be taking care of the situation are not taking care of the situation. And then she decides to handle it on her own. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, for real. So I'm glad
I can see that. It's very like
out.
justice motivated.
Yeah, she has a very strong sense of justice.
Yeah. I do think that that is a very a generational trait of Gen Alpha.
Yes, I do agree. Yeah, B is going into middle school also, but her middle school starts in 7th grade, so
yeah.
So we'll see. She has summer homework, and I am very, very tired of 7th grade math already.
Ugh. Well, I think that'll do it for us for today.
We did it.
We did it. Wonderful. Well, I look forward to chatting with you again next week.
Yes, I missed you, friend. I love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.